we don't want you to fix our problems. I'm capable of fixing how my day went. Or
Hey everyone, welcome back to a Sure Journey podcast. My name is Edwin, and we have a very, very special guest with us today, my lovely wife.
hello, everybody. My name is Guadalupe, and I'm happy to be here.
Happy to have you. So yeah, guys, we have a very interesting question for you today. The question of the day, would you like to say the question?
Sure.
Okay, what's the question for today?
Okay, so the question of the day is, are we the same or are we different?
Are we the same or are we different, guys? What do you think? When we say that, is like, are men and women, men and women, are we the same or are we different? So leave in the comments below. Let us know what you think. What is your answer to that question? Are we the same or are we different? Okay. In our current world, it's very difficult to talk about the differences between men and women because we're so focused on like basic rights, like equality, all of that. We're not gonna go into any of that, but a lot of times we tend to forget the obvious differences between men and women because we're basically different. And we're gonna talk a little bit about those differences, how to identify those, and to hopefully be able to understand each other a little bit better, so that we can live more harmoniously and live, a better life with our significant other, our boyfriend or girlfriend, our husband or wife.
And that's true because without being aware that we are different, we sometimes have expectations that our the opposite gender is going to think or be just like us. And when we do that again and again, we're kind of setting ourselves up for disappointment a lot of times. And I think going over these differences, that again, it really helps bring it on the surface and helps you find a better ground in communication in different areas. And also just want to, really say that just because we're different, it doesn't mean that we're opposing. We're not on opposite sides. We're just have a different approach to the same goal, to the same road. At the end of the day, we're both on the same team. We just have different approaches or think differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do things differently as well. We just approach them differently. So now let's talk a little bit about the beginning. We're gonna go back to the beginning. So everything that God creates is different. In God's creation, there's nothing as exactly the same. Okay, and not everything is one same color. But those differences, the unity of all of those differences, are respected and adopted. So if we go to Genesis 1:27, okay, Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, it says, "So God created humankind in his image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them." Okay? So there's three things that I would like to talk about in that verse. So first of all, God, the all-knowing creator of everything. There's nothing greater than him, okay? Now, in his image is that we were created. Who? Men and women, male and female, we were created in God's image, okay? Not the one that I want of her, not the one that she wants of me, but the image that God created for us, the purpose that God has for each one of us. So that's how he created us, right? He created male and female. And then the third part, male and female, not man and man, not women and women, but two different beings with one common purpose, okay? And that's just to kind of give it a little bit of context, to go back into kind of traveling in time to when God created us and how that came about, right? That's kind of like setting the grounds for that.
So men and women, we're genetically different, but going deeper than that, we are also physically different. We have different aspects. We have different emotions, psychologically and spiritually. Also, we're different, and we have a fundamental likeness, but we complement each other with our differences. And, let's go over some examples, I think,
Yeah.
to really show you guys what we mean.
Yeah, that would be good.
And there's a great analogy that you always use that, it sets, I love this analogy because it just, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I actually heard this a while back in a podcast that I was listening to, and it was explaining how women, the women's minds, because we're going to talk a little bit about how we think, right? So women's minds, they're kind of like a chalkboard, and men, we're like filing cabinets. That's kind of how our mind is as an analogy. Do you want to explain the chalkboard?
Yes, and I love this analogy because the chalkboard, is the female's mind, and you see the whole chalkboard, and everything's written on the chalkboard. Your birthday, your kids' birthdays, the appointment you have next week, your yearly physical, contacts, addresses,
What you're gonna
everything's
cook.
on. Yes, everything's on that chalkboard. You see it all at the same time. You can go from one corner to the other corner, and you decide exactly which ones you want to pinpoint out or highlight in your brain, right? But everything's on the surface. Everything's there.
Everything's there, plain sight. For us men, we're more like a filing cabinet where everything is organized neatly in the filing cabinet, and we open this cabinet, and there's folders in there, right? There's little folders in there, and there's a folder for every different thing. For cutting the grass, fixing the car, the plumbing is messed up, the bed is creaking, different examples, right? And we pull out one folder and we focus on that one folder, nothing else. When we're done with this folder, we put it back in and we pull out the next one. That's how it is, okay?
So basically, women, we can think at 5 different things at the exact same time. And it's very hard for men, for you guys to understand that.
Yes. And because we only focus on one thing at a time. Like I said, the analogy of the filing cabinet. We only pull out one folder at a time. Women can't do that, okay? Now, that being said, men, one of the most dangerous questions you can ask a woman, okay, is what?
What are you thinking?
That is the question. Maybe some of you guys may find that, maybe relate to that. Maybe you guys are laughing. I hope you are, because we want to make this funny. But yeah, that is one of the most dangerous things we can ask a woman, guys, because again, they're thinking about everything. So for example, the other day I asked my wife, "What are you thinking?" And what did you say?
And it was at the moment where I was washing dishes. So I just stare at them, and in my head, I'm like, you really want to know what's in my mind? Here you go. And I was telling him, I was washing dishes, and I remember I have to go to the store, I have to go grocery shopping. So I have to go open the fridge, check the pantry, and then our pantry and our laundry room is right beside each other. So I have to wash clothes, then I have to go to our kid's bedroom, find his socks, find his clothes, and then he's getting older, so his shirts don't fit him anymore. So while I'm at the store, I need to go make sure I buy him a shirt or two. And I have all this, and in the 1 minute that I'm saying all this, and the only simple question he asked was, "What are you thinking?"
What are you thinking?
And when I ask him, when I always ask him, "What are you thinking?" I get the same answer almost 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. What is that answer?
Nothing.
Nothing. So, ladies, just to explain a little bit, men, you guys can all give that thumbs up or comment that if I'm right. But we have this very special folder, okay? And it's at the very front of the filing of the drawer. Is this folder called nothing, okay? So when we pull out this folder, it's labeled nothing. We open it up, and it's nothing there. It's blank, completely empty. And so when the woman asks us, "What are you thinking?" and we say nothing, the women cannot comprehend that. Because they're always thinking of something. They can't just shut down like we do, because when we were thinking of nothing, there's a reason for it.
So they can basically shut down their brain, and they're telling the truth, ladies. When he says he's thinking about nothing,
Yeah.
there's a blank canvas. And it's something that us as women, we can't comprehend because we don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
We always have something, even if it's one little thing in our mind.
There's always something. But for us, we can shut it off. But that's an example, right, of how we think differently. And the fact is that we do think differently.
Yeah, so let's go over to the next example. So the next example is more about in the way we communicate, you know, when we're talking, when we're just conversating. And for us women, a lot of time when we're just talking, we just want our guy, you know, your boyfriend, your significant other, your husband to just listen. Just listen to us.
Mm-hmm.
And for men, it's kind of hard, isn't it?
It is.
Tell us why.
So for men, when we hear the woman or our girlfriend or wife talk about how she's feeling and like their problems, we naturally want to offer solutions. We want to put on our Mr. Fix-It cap and immediately fix the solution, because we are identifying a problem. So now we're like, okay, so she's asking for help. What can I do? Like, maybe do this, maybe do that. And that's what we naturally want to do. We want to resolve the problem because that's in our nature. That's who we are as men.
And for us women, we also find that it's a bit annoying because we don't want you to fix our problems. You know, I'm capable of fixing how my day went, or I'm capable of finding a solution.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to listen and validate, you know, what I'm feeling or how I am.
Mm-hmm.
And a good example is, you know, the other day when you got home and you asked me, you know, how did my day go? And, you know, I stay home with the kids. We have 2 little ones. And I was cooking rice and the rice got burnt. So I told them, you know, like, I was with the kids. I was feeding the baby. The rice got burnt. I was talking to my mom. And in his head, the
Red
rice
flags
got burnt.
immediately.
What were you doing when you burnt the rice? Why weren't you paying attention?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I can easily make another pot of rice, which I did, but I just wanted him to listen to me. So in that moment when, you know, when us women were talking.
Yes. So that's one tip there, guys. For whenever you're talking to your significant other and she's telling you about her day and she's going over what the problems were, maybe some issues that she had or how she felt, just listen. And that's one thing that I mean, I'll be honest, I'm also personally working on that too. Like, I have to learn to shut my mouth, right? And just listen and acknowledge the fact that you are listening to her and you know, and at the end of the day, you know, hug her and tell her, like, you know, it that sounds like you had a tough day, but, you know, come here, you'll be okay. And that goes a long way. That goes a long way.
Yes. And I think another great example that we can see how we're different is when we, in the actions that we do, because we have a purpose or our intention behind the things that we do. And a clear example is when we give gifts, when we get invited to a birthday, a wedding, a baby shower, and the way we give gifts, you know, women want it more personalized. And men, you know,
We just want to complete the task. We just want to be like, all right, my purpose is to give this gift. They're going to use it. Let me grab this towel. Let me grab that rack. Boom, put it in the bag. Let's go. Done. The gift is ready. That's us men.
not for us women. We want, you know, that we want the gift specifically for the person specifically. For example, you know, our daughter, she loves Hello Kitty. So her birthday's coming up. I'm gonna make sure I find Hello Kitty shirts, Hello Kitty bags, Hello Kitty everything.
Everything.
And you make that you go beyond just the gift, and it's just different for men and for women, right? So that's when we go into the store, you look at a rack, you find something,
Color matching and
color
everything.
matching everything, and there's a reason to our system, right?
Yes. So now that's one example, and I think us as men, we can also learn to tap into that a little bit, learn to be a little bit more thoughtful on things, even our gifts to our significant other, our girlfriends or our wife. Like if I'm gonna give her a gift, I need to put a little more thought into it and like, okay, maybe she could use this. Listen to the conversations that you guys have, and you'll be able to along the way identify certain things. You just gotta keep your ears open, your antenna, listening to whenever she's asking for things or she's saying, "Oh man, like the dishwashing scrub broke." Don't offer to solve it immediately. Be like, "Oh, maybe I can go buy her one that maybe will last a little bit longer," and give her that. Those little details go a long way. A lot of times, is the small things that matter the most. Like you can give her a car if you want. You can give her a house, but at the end of the day, helping around the house, maybe helping out with the kids, those things matter way more
Yes.
than the big material stuff, really.
And it's not the quantity. You could give me one rose. You can come to the house and give me one rose. And I'm going to feel loved and appreciated. And it's the same effect as if you're going to give me 100 roses. That one rose, that's
I'm taking mental note, guys.
validation
I'm taking
enough.
mental note.
And, I get more emotional or more excited, if it's 100 roses. But just know that the little details,
They do matter.
and they add up.
They do.
They add up, and they're more valuable than one huge thing like getting a brand new car, a house, an expensive jewelry, or one act of, a spa day or something. I would take the little gestures every day and that one big gesture in just one day.
Just one time. Yeah. And actually talking about that too, we're going to go into the next topic, sensitivity versus like emotions. Because, we're also sensitively and emotionally different.
So for us women, we're more aware of the details, the little details. And when we get a new pair of shoes, when we get our hair done, our hair colored, it could be a simple, you can get, streaks in our hair. It could be brown or blonde. It could be red. It could be a slightly off, but something is different. So we want our men to notice it. And a lot of times we want them to pick it up as quickly as we do when we see our friend, our female friend that got something done, or something's different about her. We're very quick to pick up on those little details.
And so guys, another tip there is be a little bit more attentive to the details on regarding your significant other, like your wife or your girlfriend. Focus on those little details. Like pay attention. Maybe she got some new fingernail polish. Maybe she did her hair a little bit different. Maybe she's wearing different earrings. Those little details will, again, is all about the details, right? So go to the details and really identify those, because you do not want to be caught on a double date and your girlfriend or your wife's friend, she's the one that identifies it before you. And then if they bring it up during the date, guys, you better hope the rest of the date goes well, because you're in for a rough one. But yeah, like the details is I think the identifying those details really means a lot to them.
And that's why, because of all those details, women need more time to get ready.
Yes.
We need to perfect all those details, or spice it up, make the change. And at the same time, since us women, we pick it up more than men do, we have to give him a hint.
Yes,
Like
because we cannot guess it all the time.
they cannot guess that something was done, and we cannot stay silent and hope he's gonna find the difference, or he's gonna notice it within the first 30 minutes of him seeing me.
Yes.
It might take a day or two. So drop the
Yes.
hint. Notice anything different today?
Yeah. That is that magic question. Don't freak out, guys. Just take your time and look. You know, and if you're practicing this over time, you'll start noticing the differences here and there. Like, oh, that's the, you know, that dress looks nice on you. I noticed you have different earrings. Those nice. You know, things like that. And again, they'll be nice. And now women as well. For example, like my wife said, we take less time getting ready. So don't get on us for like just sitting around while you're rushing around trying to get ready. We just naturally don't require that much attention to like getting ready. We'll just put on a shirt, pants, shoes, and we're ready to go. Okay. So just kind of like recognize that and don't press on us for doing that. But guys, give her some time and kind of encourage her along the way, and she'll appreciate it. And I mean, maybe even, you know, go with jokes about like how you're getting ready. Like, ooh, I like that. Maybe the other one, or maybe those earrings, those shoes look nice. You know, kind of like that. Be involved with it. I think that will kind of make it fun, and you know, it may even hurry her up. You know, you never know.
Yeah, and I think for us ladies, also we have to be gentle with our spouse or our boyfriend, and not to criticize. Don't criticize them. They men. It hurts them more to criticize than when we criticize ourselves, or when we criticize other female. We take the constructive criticism, but for a man, it does more damage to them.
Yes.
When they receive criticism from us, we can say it in a gentler way. We can find a way to say it, you know, that doesn't come across as harsh. And also be careful with what you're saying, and also be vocal and transparent. And I'm telling you this, like an example is like, you know, we have to clean the house, and I can say, you know, the house is always messy. You never help me. And what he heard,
the one word that we hear, never. And then the man, like me as a guy, well, how about the other days that I helped you clean, you wash dishes? The other day that I helped you wash clothes. The other day that I helped you get the kids ready. You know, we'll start kind of like spitting this out, because by naturally we're like, but I did help you, because we're taking that word literally, the never. And we have to learn that the woman doesn't necessarily doesn't specifically mean never. It's kind of like just how they're feeling. They just want to be heard, right? So,
and it's also kind of like saying, like, in this exact moment, I would really appreciate you to help right now, because we have X, Y, Z to do, but we have to finish by a certain time to get to whatever date we had or event going on throughout the day. So be very vocal.
Yes. And like, for example, if we're another scenario too is, let's say when we're heading somewhere. Let's say we're going to a party or something, and the guy is driving and he looks lost, or he can't find his way. We as men, we tend to want to do things, again, like I mentioned earlier, we want to fix things. We want to be the one responsible to be able to help the family. We want to feel sufficient. So we're not as easy to pull over and ask for help, because we feel like we can do it. But when the women goes in and chimes in and says, why don't you ask for help? Or why don't you ask that guy, like ask them for help. Like, we don't like that, because we want to be the ones to provide. And but when we hear that, it's like in our minds, we're like, so if I can't even help my family get to this place in time, or to this correct place, how am I going to be sufficient? How am I going to be able to help my family at all? So that's where we have to kind of know how we say things can also affect how the other is going to respond. And so for ladies, you know, just be careful on how you say things, and learned a little bit on how to identify that, and don't say those things that are going to trigger him, and vice versa, the same way, the other way as well.
Yes, and for us women, we're helping in our mind. We're helping him, but we're not giving him the trust.
Yes. Yeah. Just trust us. We'll get there. It might take a little bit longer, but we'll get
Yes.
there. So then let's go to the next one. Another important one too is seeking God, right? And men and women, we seek God differently. Men, we want to know God more. We want to know more, right? We want to study more, get to know Him a little bit more, versus women.
For us women, we want to feel God. We measure more with our hearts. We want to feel Him. That's why whenever you go to mass or you go to church, a lot of the people that help are women, because women want to be involved. They want to feel God. They want to, we're more likely to go to church. We're the ones saying, "Come on, let's go," because we always want to be surrounded and feel Him.
Yeah. So, and again, guys, these are all different examples that we're going over. There's different personality traits, morals, different things that also affect how we do things, how we see things, how we view them, it's just a simple act of how you peel a banana. Maybe washing dishes. I don't know if you want to explain a little bit of the difference between that too.
We wash different. We wash dishes differently. I soap them all up first, put them to the side, then rinse them all at once.
Versus I just grab each one as I go. Wash it, rinse it, put it up. Wash, rinse, put it up. Wash, rinse, put it up. That's how I do it. But at the end of the day, the dishes get washed.
Exactly.
And with washing laundry as well, that's the same thing.
And the way we separate our laundry is different.
Yeah.
I go by textures. I read individual tags of our clothing and know which one's tumble dry low, cold water only.
Even by types of clothes, like the types of materials.
The type of fabric, and he goes more light.
I go for light colors, like shades. So,
but at the end of the day, our laundry's getting washed, it's getting dried, and it's getting folded. So it's okay to be different. And I think because we are different, it helps us come together, and understand each other more. And besides criticizing and saying, "No, you're wrong," "I'm right, do it my way, do it your way," meet in the middle. And also have the goal or the road you're walking to. It's the same goal. We're on the same side. We're on the same team. We just have different components. And when we come together, we create something that's much greater than our individualness.
Yeah. Yeah, we complement each other.
Yes.
Men are more logical, women are more emotional. That's just how we are. So again, there's no right or wrong in being different. Like I said, we all have the same goals, just different points of views. We just have to learn to understand like the opposite sex, right? There's different ways to do it. A few of the examples that we gave here, we really hope that helps. Read books. That definitely helps out a lot. One of the ones that we actually have here is, and we'll actually show it to you guys, is Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Hope you can see that. And it's one of the different books that they're available to help identify those differences. Like different books like that. Listening to podcasts like a Sure Journey podcast. Be vocal, communicate.
Yes, communicate.
That's one of our things, our pet peeves, I guess, is like just communicate, because through communication, you can really get a lot of things done. You can really get to know someone and really know what the other person wants.
And communicating also helps clear out misunderstandings. And don't ever stay with the misunderstanding.
Don't keep it to yourself.
Don't keep it to yourself, because sometimes I could say, take out the trash. And in his mind's like, well, if she's telling me to take out the trash, like commanding me, go take out the trash? Or is she asking me nicely or in that moment? I'm saying it, take out the trash, really say, okay, you're telling me this, but I'm getting this,
Yes.
be
Like, or even say something like, okay, look, this is how I understood it. Is this how you meant it?
yes,
Something as simple as that will go a long way. It'll help you avoid a lot of headaches. Trust me. It has helped us. I know it has a lot of times. We're not perfect. We still find moments where we have to kind of, whoa, calm down. Let's go back, right? But when we do catch ourselves before we even go that far, okay, this is what I heard. This is what I understood. Is that what you meant? And that helps a ton. Okay. So also, just to summarize too, don't worry if one or more of these examples don't apply to you. These are kind of general examples only, okay? A lot of situations are going to depend on maybe personality types, environments, and we'll cover over that in a different episode. I should think that'll be good to go over different personalities. We all have different personalities, and that also is going to affect how we do things as well. So, but we really hope this episode helps you guys out at least a little bit. And really kind of identifying those differences with men and women. I don't know if you want to add something before we close.
I think it's important for us to be vocal and for us to communicate and, start asking those tough questions and really start understanding your significant other. And it will create a bond.
Nice. So yeah, guys, remember, like, comment, subscribe, and please turn on your notifications so that you can, know when we add more videos. And remember, life is a short journey. So let's learn to identify, accept, and respect the differences in our significant others so that way we can give and receive the love that's in our hearts. All right? So thank you guys again so much, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Pax bono.